Midweek, Tom strolled into his rural abode, leaving last on Sunday. His aim was to collect items swiftly and depart once more. Assuming Peggy would be working, he ventured into the kitchen for a coffee. Upon finding handcuffs, duct tape, a discarded towel, a video camera, an overturned chair, and his broken choice of refreshment being a Diet Coke instead of coffee, Tom felt uneasy. Peggy stormed in, demanding angrily, "Where the hell have you been?" Unresponsive, Tom walked past her into their bedroom to grab clothes, but Peggy stopped him. "I asked you a question," she repeated, still angry. Tom halted and turned to face her. 7 years ago, the woman he wedded and cherished became the one who shattered him. With a quiet plea, he asked her to release him. Peg observed his lack of emotion. His eyes appeared lifeless. She released his grip and allowed him to leave. Peg discarded the handcuffs, duct tape, and kitchen towel into the bin, then moved the tripod, detaching its bracket, and placed the camcorder on the table before folding and setting it next to her. Peg was bound for the bedroom. Tom had an open suitcase on the bed and was packing. "What are you doing, Tom?" he responded, still engaged in his task. "Another business trip," she mocked. "No, where are you going then?" Tom paused and glanced at her, maintaining his blank expression. "Why should it matter? You're my spouse. I have a right to know." "Peg, you renounced that privilege last Sunday afternoon." Tom added several items to the bag and took it into the living room, placing it by the door before moving towards his study. Peggy trailed behind him. He gathered papers from his desk and put them in his briefcase, closed it, and packed his laptop and power cord in the computer bag. Tom then picked up the video camera from the kitchen table, finding the SD card still inside. "Was this what you recorded on Sunday?" Peggy gave a smile, a keepsake of your retaliation. "That's considerate, thank you." Despite this, Tom maintained an emotionless expression. "Tom, for heaven's sake, speak to me," she demanded angrily. Tom looked at her, his face showing a flash of anger. "What have you done to me? Why are you leaving?" she inquired. "Peggy, take a seat at the table with me." Tom opened his computer bag and placed the laptop on the table, sitting down himself before inviting Peggy to sit next to him. Once seated, he slid the SD card into the slot. "Let's examine this first, then we can discuss it." The recording began, displaying a chair moved from the kitchen table on one side and an empty table on the other. "Welcome home, dear." A beckoning invitation led into the kitchen as Tom, grinning, made an appearance. Peggy emerged, adorned in a slender robe, her hair and makeup pristine, barefoot feet revealing. In her hand, she held handcuffs, her expression holding a secret delight. She instructed Tom to sit in the chair, where he complied, still smiling. Peggy moved behind the chair, crouching down to fasten the cuffs around him. Her robe gaped open, unveiling nothing beneath. She encased one wrist in the cuff, looped the chain through the chair's back, then secured the other wrist. Peggy exited the frame momentarily before returning to cover Tom's mouth with a strip of duct tape. Despite the covering, his grin remained evident. With a flourish, she discarded her robe to the ground. The sight that greeted Tom brought a wide-eyed delight to his expression. "Are you prepared for the surprise?" she questioned with a grin. Tom affirmed. "We're all set here," she declared. A short while later, the sound of footsteps approaching was heard. Tom rotated his head at the noise. A man entered the room wearing Tom's robe. Shock replaced Tom's smile when he saw the individual. "Honey, don't you recall Joey from my workplace?" Peggy moved towards Joey and undid the belt of the robe, discarding it into Tom's lap before pulling it off his shoulders. Beneath the robe, Joey was naked. Tom halted the video and stared at Peggy. "Why? You are aware of the reasons." "Peggy, I'm unclear about what you're referring to." Tom kept his composure. "Prior to our marriage, didn't I inform you that if you ever betrayed me, I would sleep with someone in retaliation and do it right before your eyes? Don't you remember that? Is this the purpose behind all of this? This is your recompense." She claimed indifference, yet it was clear there was more beneath the surface. "Did you betray me? Is that what you're insinuating?" "Let me clarify, I did not. You were the one who strayed. But since we're airing grievances, when have I ever cheated on you, Peggy? You can't play this game with me." You know full well when, where, and with whom. Tom withdrew an SD card and placed it in his bag. He shut the laptop and tucked it away, securing it inside. Facing Peggy, he threatened, "Either explain what you're talking about or I'm walking out the door." Tom was visibly upset. "Stop feigning innocence." It was during that supposed work trip last week that Jerry's wife, Jill, contacted me. She revealed your escapades with Jerry and a pair of prostitutes. Yes, it was Jill who told you this. What evidence did she provide? Drop the act of victimhood, Tom. You know the truth. So you sought revenge by sleeping with me right in front of my eyes, based on a phone call from someone I trust. Indeed, that's what I did, all right. Based solely on her word, no tangible evidence required. I didn't need any. I knew it was true. Peg, you restrained me and slept with another man while I watched. You humiliated me, all based on a rumor. Revenge, that's what I delivered. Tom tilted his head, still perplexed. You didn't explain why. You didn't discuss it with me. You judged me as guilty and deserving of punishment without any proof at all. Yes, so now we're on equal terms, right? Yeah, even. It doesn't matter now, but there are a few things I'd like to clarify. Proceed, I'm listening. I was speaking at a conference last week. Jerry wasn't present. He was dismissed from the band 2 months ago for having an affair with an office receptionist, and since then, I haven't seen or heard from him. I spoke on stage during the entire conference from 7 in the morning to 10 at night every day. The entire week was recorded. After the sessions, our group met daily until midnight to deliberate and plan for the next day. Multiple individuals can vouch for my location during that period. I remained at the hotel until departing for the airport following the event. Yet, you persist in denying it entirely. I find that hard to believe. After all, I possess concrete evidence of where I was and what I was doing throughout, which seems more credible than a phone call from someone who wasn't present. Frankly, your argument appears weak, but I choose to believe her. What one believes does not equate to truth. I once thought myself wedded to the most wonderful, caring woman in existence. However, what emerged on Sunday was that I am married to a fundamentally flawed and malicious individual who holds me in such low regard that she has caused both physical and emotional humiliation without any substantial evidence of misconduct. Peggy made no reply. I'm departing now. Expect communication from my lawyer within the coming days. I have no intention of divorcing you. That was the purpose of this ordeal. Now we are on equal terms. Peggy, I did not betray you. Didn't you pay attention? I am not ignorant. Clearly, I listened. Are you still convinced your actions were righteous? I am too. Consequently, there's nothing left to debate. Go ahead and contact Jill to ascertain the evidence she possessed. I'm curious about it. Truth be told, it isn't crucial at this moment. Without further ado, Tom departed from the house. He headed to his hotel room, where he copied the video onto 3 DVDs. Prior to this, Tom had scheduled a meeting with his attorney and made his way there, where the divorce proceedings commenced. The grounds for filing would be infidelity. He handed over a copy of the DVD to his attorney. Given the prenuptial agreement, the evidence on the DVD would substantiate it. Upon filing the documents, Tom personally delivered them to Peggy. His lawyer suggested immediate attention to certain financial matters, which Tom promptly addressed post-consultation. Tom then set his phone to silent and reviewed messages when he arrived at his hotel room. 5 minutes post his departure, Peggy's initial call arrived. A silence spanned for approximately 2 hours afterwards. Subsequent calls arrived about every 5 minutes or so. He only listened to the first voice message that followed the 2-hour gap. "My God, Tom, I finally managed to reach Jill. She was drunk. Please call me. I made a mistake. Please call me." Tom erased all her calls, voicemails, and subsequently deleted her text messages and emails without listening. The persistent flow of calls, texts, and emails continued. He checked the numbers as the calls rolled in. Besides Peggy, Tom also received calls from her father, mother, and sister. He phoned Sean, her father, back. "Hey, Sean, it's Tom. I see you can read. What on earth did you do to my daughter?" His response was, I didn't harm her in any way except not answering her calls. God damn it, she's hysterical. What on earth is going on? If you wish to know what occurred, you need to speak with Peggy directly. Tom was furious. You're wasting your time. Speak with Peggy instead. Tom remained composed towards him. Have you slept with someone or something? Speak with Peggy, you son of a bitch. I should come over there and beat you up. Listen to me, Sean. If you want to know what happened, you'll have to find out from Peggy. I'm not discussing this with you or anyone else. Speak with Peggy. You swine, didn't you really cheat on her? Farewell, Sean. Tom terminated the call. Sean almost immediately called back, but Tom disregarded him. This was followed shortly by a call from Mary, her mother. He erased their voicemails and went to dinner before retiring for the night. Thursday morning, he purchased a new phone, keeping his old one too. He went to work and took an extended leave. He also provided them with his new number, but asked them not to disseminate it. Once he reached the outskirts of town, he rented a modest, furnished apartment and signed a 6-month lease. Tom visited the grocery store to buy groceries and household items. By evening, he had organized his home. On Friday morning, his lawyer contacted him. They met at the courthouse, signed papers, filed them, and Tom was given a copy for Peggy. Her copy didn't need a signature, but the attorney advised him to have an impartial witness when she received it. Tom phoned Peggy, and they decided to meet for lunch at their usual restaurant. Upon arrival, Tom was already seated at a secluded table in the back of the room. Peggy appeared, wearing a duffel bag. She seemed healthy. As she approached, Tom stood up. Peggy hugged him, but when she tried to kiss him, he only turned his cheek. This wasn't what Peggy had anticipated, as her expression showed. She sat down facing him. Tom, I've made a mistake. I want us to forget about it and move on. I agree. It's time to progress. Peggy, okay, let's move forward. Tom refused the waiter's attention, recognizing Lynn. They had been acquainted for quite some time. What would you like to drink? She inquired, grinning. 2 Diet Colas, Peggy answered. Tom signaled Lynn to remain a while longer. He accepted the divorce documents from the waiter, then passed them on to Peggy. Here are your divorce papers, he stated. Lynn will vouch for the fact that you've been notified. Thank you, Lynn. Peggy's complexion paled as she examined the papers. Lynn departed to fetch their drinks. Tom, you had expressed a desire to put this matter behind us and move forward. That is precisely what I am doing. I am progressing. But Tom, I erred. That wasn't my intention. Peggy, we have been married for more than 7 years. Until last Sunday, they were the best years of my life. I loved you as no one else and probably never will again. Don't discard that, Tom. We have a wonderful marriage. It isn't. Last Sunday, you destroyed our marriage and my love. I made a mistake. Can't you see that? I'll describe what I perceive when I gaze at you or imagine in my mind. I see the woman I cherished. I see her, on the table before me, being intimate with him, boasting about how much she enjoys it and how he surpasses me in that aspect. That's what I see now, Peggy, not the woman I valued. You took her away that day. But Tom, it was all an accident. No, it was premeditated. The motive behind your actions was a mistake, not the act itself. I warned you that if you were unfaithful, I would retaliate by having sex in front of you. You were aware of the consequences and even consented to it. Yes, I did it, knowing it might never transpire. What did I say would happen if you were unfaithful? Peggy cast her eyes down to the table. You said you'd divorce me. Did we agree on that? Yes, but I didn't stray from our relationship. Tom extended a DVD towards her. This is for you, he said. It's a recording of your not cheating encounter with Joey. Tom, it wasn't infidelity, it was retaliation. Lynn reappeared with our drinks and took our lunch orders. Tom, extramarital relations are deemed adultery, and unless consented to by both parties, it is considered infidelity. We can resolve this issue. Peggy, let's seek counseling. I'm afraid not, Peg. You revealed the side of you that destroyed the woman I cherish. You didn't kill her physically, but emotionally, just as surely. I do not desire a divorce. I will fight you. On Sunday, You displayed another aspect of yourself. I too have hidden facets. You choose not to acknowledge them. What aspects? The ones where I retaliate with equal ruthlessness, apathy, and malice, just as you did on Sunday. I will not use a mistake as an excuse. I will accept full responsibility for my actions. That's not your character, and you are aware of that. This is amusing. I too was contemplating the same about you. Curses, Tom, this was an error. No, it was a calculated act of retribution. What did you tell your parents? I informed them we had a disagreement and promised to resolve it. What was the argument about? Peggy remained silent while gazing at the table. What was she hiding? You disclosed our affair to them. You never told them the truth. Why didn't you? They wouldn't comprehend. Understand what? They wouldn't grasp it was a mistake. Perhaps I'm starting to understand now. Tom, I recognize what I did to you was wrong. It was more about judgment than fact. I know I caused you great pain, but we can move past this. We can rebuild our marriage. We can leave this incident in the past. Fine, we'll leave our marriage behind. The woman I once loved no longer exists. I will resist every attempt to save it. I'm preserving our marriage. There's nothing left to preserve. It's over. Don't force me to reveal my true self. You won't approve of it. You're bluffing. Stop pushing, Peggy. Hire a lawyer. Request them to review the petition. Ask them to contact my lawyer if you have any queries. In 3 months, you will be single and can have all the Joey you want. This has nothing to do with Joey. I apologize for my rudeness. I'm sorry. I'm not abandoning you. You've received it, and the agreement seems fair. Still, I refuse. Lynn delivered them food. Tom handed her his credit card. She soon returned with a check for his signature. Tom signed it before standing up. He hadn't touched his meal yet. Enjoy your dinner, Peggy. My appetite vanished last Sunday when you spat on me. Afterward, Tom departed to his home. On Tuesday, Peggy consulted her attorney for the first time. A friend recommended hard case she was. Take a seat, Mrs. Givens. I'm Ronnie Savage. How may I assist you? Your spouse is attempting to divorce you. Has he served you with documents? She inquired. Last Friday, could I see those papers? Peggy presented them to her. Ronnie examined the initial page. He's charging adultery. Is this accurate? No, it was an error. You were intimate with someone other than your spouse? Yes, but it was a mistake. Did your spouse permit you to be intimate with another person? Mrs. Givens, it appears that you engaged in revenge sex under false assumptions of your husband's infidelity. Your friend told you he was unfaithful, but it turned out to be incorrect. You confirmed this by handcuffing him and making him watch as you had sex with another man. Now you possess a video recording of the event. Peggy nodded when asked if I could watch the DVD. After just a few minutes of viewing, Ronnie paused it. Although I need to finish watching it later, I decided to focus on the petition first. She started reading it, and after a short while, flipped through some pages before looking up. It appeared that a prenuptial agreement had been signed, and at first glance, it seemed solid in terms of adultery. If the complaint's language was changed to irreconcilable differences, we could bypass that section. Ronnie suggested this might be challenging. Despite the prenup, my partner is offering me a significantly higher settlement than required by law. Without a prenup, I would likely receive a much larger cash payment. However, I don't desire a cash payout or a divorce. I want my spouse back. Yes, I had told him that. Contested divorces can be expensive for all parties involved. Ronnie suggested counseling could help, and it wouldn't hurt to try. We're set then. Let's pursue counseling and inform him that should he resist, we'll persist in our efforts for all we hold dear. Got any incriminating evidence on your spouse? You're referring to criminal activities, correct? None at all. He's as innocent as they come. Has he ever physically or verbally abused you? Never. I'll meticulously examine the documents. Watch the recording and get back to you soon. Does he possess a copy of that video? Yes, Peggy confirmed. It was on a Wednesday when Ronnie contacted her. Mrs. Givens, your case is quite strong. The video you recorded is highly damaging, and you wouldn't want any judge to view it. Let's proceed with our previous plan. We'll initiate 6 weeks of family counseling. I'm willing to go to great lengths to get my husband back." 2 days later, Tom's attorney contacted him and requested a meeting. He visited the office that same afternoon. "Tom, they've suggested 6 weeks of couples therapy. What if I decline? They'll do everything in their power to challenge us." "I refuse." "Do you think she made the right decision? She chose to employ Ronnie Savage. He's top-notch, surpassing many others, perhaps even you. Are you prepared for a confrontation? I'll use my teeth and claws if necessary. In that case, let's simply say no and observe the outcome. Keep me informed." That night, Tom phoned Peggy. "Peggy, I've abandoned therapy. As I warned you, if we argue about this, you'll witness a side of me that will displease you. Why are you acting like this? Just halt this absurd divorce and return home." "Peg, that won't transpire. This is your final opportunity to escape lightly. I won't contact you again. I'm battling you, Tom. I don't desire a divorce. Have it your way." Tom ended the call. The following Monday, Peggy filed a counterclaim. The reasons were irreconcilable differences. She demanded everything. 2 days later, documents accusing relationship misconduct between two married teachers at the local school, Peggy Givens and Joseph Carr, were served to the school board and the institution where Peggy worked. Images depicting an intimate encounter between two individuals were enclosed with the delivery. This prompted a swift emergency school board meeting, resulting in the termination of both parties on the same day. On the same day, Joey's spouse received a DVD via mail, containing visual evidence and contact details of those involved. After viewing the video, she reached out to Tom. "Hello, this is Tom Givens. This is Tammy Carr, Joey's wife. Did you send me that DVD?" Tom responded. "Yes, ma'am, I apologize, but I believed you had a right to know." "When was it recorded?" "A week ago, on Sunday, at my house." "Is that you in the chair?" "Yes, and the video is genuine, without any edits." "Is this woman your wife?" Tom admitted, "For now, I have filed for divorce." Satisfied with this information, Tammy ended the call. Tammy subsequently contacted a divorce attorney. The following day, Joey contacted Peggy, scolding her for betraying him through an act of vengeance and jeopardizing his job and marriage. Despite losing her job and Joey's rebuke, Peggy persisted. After another week without news from Tom or his lawyer, Tom decided on his next move. Peggy's family received a DVD via post. The video started with a brief introduction before they began questioning and scolding Peggy. Tom's old phone rang. It was his sister-in-law calling. "How could you do this, Tom? Peggy loves you. Mandy, she shows it in an unusual way. It was revenge sex, for God's sake. Yet she hasn't told you the truth." "What is the truth?" "Mandy, I wasn't having an affair. She got a tip from a friend saying I did. She believed it to be true without any evidence. This was her revenge." "Tom, Peggy isn't that foolish. Why don't you ask her yourself? If she drops the divorce and stops fighting, that ends it. If she continues, that's only the beginning. Can't you handle this? Have you watched the DVD? All I could stomach was just the start. After considering everything, ponder if your spouse is open to reconciliation. Would you be willing to give it a try? I am, though I believe it's worth an attempt. You've known me since we were children, Mandy. You know I'm not a bad person. I'll watch the DVD as you suggested." "Okay, I will." An hour later, Mandy phoned again. "I'm truly sorry, Tom. I now comprehend, but I must speak with Peggy. Inform her that if she ceases contesting the divorce, this will be finalized. If she continues to fight, matters will only worsen. I will convey the message." Upon meeting Peggy, Mandy verified Tom's truthfulness and passed on his warning. Peggy was resolute in her rejection. Mandy then informed her parents about Peggy's actions and Tom's insistence that she withdraws the lawsuit. That same night, Peggy's parents visited her, obtaining copies of both documents. A family friend of Sean's is an attorney who will review the documents and prenup. The advice given was for Peggy to follow Tom's instructions and discreetly file for divorce in court. Peggy persisted in her resistance. A week passed without any communication from his lawyer, at which point Tom chose to proceed further. Peggy instructed children on Sundays at the same church her parents attended. Each female auxiliary member and minister of the church received a flyer with images of Peggy engaging in sexual acts with a man other than her spouse, accompanied by the question, "Should this woman be educating your children?" On Sunday, Peggy's parents were ostracized instead of welcomed as congregants. After the service, the pastor spoke with them privately and explained his reasons for their treatment. He also provided them a letter for Peggy expressing that her services were no longer needed or desired, along with a copy of the flyer. When they handed it to Peggy, she cried but remained firm in her stance regarding her counterclaim. Peggy informed her lawyer about Tom's actions. Sharing the family matter wasn't illegal, as demonstrated in the DVD where Peggy explicitly told Tom that she created it for him. Given it was his property, he had the liberty to disseminate it among any adult. The flyers were distributed anonymously, so without a proper investigation, they couldn't be linked back to Tom. Ronnie suggested she abandon her lawsuit. Peggy's family urged her to do so, as it was negatively impacting their lives. Sean contacted Tom to express his worries. Tom reiterated his request to Sean. However, Peggy persisted. A few days later, Peggy's neighbors and friends received similar flyers, bearing only Peggy's name and contact details. Peggy's phone and email began flooding with nuisance calls and messages. Trash was left on her car, driveway, and yard. Tom waited another week before posting about it on Peggy's social media accounts. It started with subtle insinuations, then escalated to photos with strategically placed blackouts in sensitive areas. A few days subsequent, Peggy got an email from a porn site congratulating her for the video submission. When a news crew arrived at her doorstep, she contacted her lawyer and abandoned the lawsuit. She requested a meeting with Tom under one condition: it should take place at his attorney's office. They met a few days later. Peggy appeared drastically altered, with weight loss and signs of sleep deprivation. Sitting opposite Peggy, Tom said, "I've withdrawn the countersuit, you won." Peggy replied, "No, Tom, I lost. I lost the woman I loved, my marriage, everything that mattered to me." Tom acknowledged, "Indeed, there is a side of you I've never seen before. I apologize for putting you through this." Peggy responded, "I don't know what to say. I can't show my face anywhere. I would have to leave just to find employment. I can't stay here either. Everyone we've ever known treats me like a pariah too." "Haven't we both lost everything?" Tom agreed. "Yes, Peg, we have." Tom was on the brink of tears. "Can anything be done to reverse what I've done, even though it's too late? Apart from discovering a way to rewind time?" "Absolutely not, Peggy." Tom prepared to depart. Peggy rose and offered a final embrace. Tears flowed freely down her face. Tom hesitated, then withdrew. Tears trailed down his face as well. "I can't, Peggy. It would feel like I was betraying the woman I loved." He stood there for a moment, then walked towards the door. When his hand reached the doorknob, he turned back to her. "There might be one way to help." "What is it, Tom?" "Just once, you could say sorry, just once." Tom exited the office and left her behind. One thing could potentially aid: an apology just once.